they had to do was guess the number on the die correctly to clear the game. The host rolled the die 3 times in a row. Every single time, it landed on 1. Was there something wrong with the die? On the 4th roll, the host covered the die with a lid. Now no one could see what number it landed on. Each player had to trust their own judgment and enter the cage matching the number they believed was correct. Guess right, and they would split a prize worth over 100 million. Guess wrong, and they would die on the spot. They had only 30 minutes, so what number was hiding under the lid? Statistically, since the first 3 rolls were all 1s, many players thought choosing 2 through 6 gave them a better chance. But one older man disagreed. If the die had landed on 1 3 times in a row, maybe it had been rigged. Its center of gravity could have been altered to make the same number appear again and again. The host had even given them a clue. That meant this round might not be testing their ability to calculate odds at all. The other players told the older man to prove his theory by entering cage 1 first. Suddenly, he wasn't so confident anymore. When the host saw that no one was willing to enter a cage, she gave them one more useful hint. Everyone was confused. Then a high school student stepped out of the crowd. Without hesitation, he walked straight into cage 1. The others immediately followed him. Within seconds, cage 1 was packed. Jack still felt like they were missing something important. There had to be a guaranteed way to survive this game. As more players crowded into cage 1, Jack's friends started getting nervous. If they waited any longer, there might not be any room left. The host calmly announced that there were no rules against fighting for space. Only players who remained inside a cage would qualify for the next round. That was all everyone needed to hear. The players inside cage 1 started throwing latecomers back out. While everyone fought over the same cage, Jack led his friends into cage 2. The host's clue kept bothering him. She had said choosing the wrong cage didn't necessarily mean death. Then Jack remembered something strange about the earlier rolls. On the 3rd roll, Lisa had thrown the die from the left side. But on the screen, the die entered from the right. That meant the footage on the screen had been pre-recorded. The die they had just watched might never have landed on 1 at all. The 3 identical rolls were nothing more than a trap designed to mislead them. The moment the players in cage 1 heard Jack's theory, they panicked and rushed back out. Soon, only the high school student, Alex, remained inside.
出ないんですか？出ない。だってこれは落ちてる金を拾うようなゲームだから。
The moment Jack heard those words, he finally understood how the game was really supposed to be played. He quickly shared the key with Gray. Less than 3 minutes remained. Now they needed to keep the other players from figuring it out. Gray spotted Andy, standing nearby, and called him over. Then they brought Andy into cage 3. The other players immediately backed away. No one wanted to choose the same cage as Andy. Soon, only 1 minute remained. Then someone finally worked out what they believed was the correct answer. 5. A die that had been shaved down would have different weights on opposite faces. The biggest weight difference would be between 5 and 2. That made 5 the most likely number to land face up. The moment everyone heard the explanation, they rushed toward cage 5. The older man was pushed out because he couldn't squeeze inside. With time running out, he had no choice. He randomly jumped into cage 4. Then, with only seconds left, Jack suddenly moved from cage 2 into cage 3. Now there was only one question left. What number was actually under the lid? Time ran out. Lisa lifted the cover. Only the older man had guessed correctly. At the host's command, massive iron balls came crashing down inside the cages. But somehow, Jack and his friends survived too. That was when the real trick behind the game was finally revealed. The point was never to guess the number on the die. The real test was whether the players could notice the small gap between the falling iron ball and the walls of the cage.